Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Grown Up Talk YouTube video. So there's some things that I want to get off my chest today. First of all, let me say thank you all so much for joining me. I'm happy that you guys could be here. It's great to see you again, of course, as we do every single Monday. So thanks for joining me on this week's Grown Up Talk video. So let's just get it on with it, shall we? Okay, so make sure that you check out my official website. That's grownuptalk.wixsite.com/grownuptalk. I put out new blogs every Sunday. Of course, if you've been paying any attention, you know that the blog is moving from Sunday to Tuesday as of October. So that's coming up in October, where it's moving from Sunday to Tuesday. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you keep it locked out here on the Grown Up Talk Jessica Ambrose YouTube channel. I put up new YouTube videos every Monday. Make sure you check out my podcast every Thursday. That's the Grown Up Talk podcast, where you can find that on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Cast, Pocket Cast, and all my other sponsors that sponsor Grown Up Talk podcast each and every Thursday. All right. So with that being said, that was just a little bit of a promo. Please make sure you also head on over to Amazon and get my new book, Relationships in the Real World. I worked extremely hard on that book, and I really want you guys to love it as much as I loved writing it. You can head on over to Amazon right now and get that for $7.99. That's Amazon for $7.99 right now. Relationships in the Real World. Go get your copy. Also, just so you guys know, as of March 21st, 2019, I will be releasing Relationships in the Real World in paperback copy. So in case you're not an ebook fan or you don't read ebooks, that's fine, but it will be coming out in paperback copy on March 21st, 2019. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears open for that, and I will make sure to keep you guys posted. Also, I am just about finished writing A Toxic Kind of Love, which is my second book. As I have previously stated, I still don't have a release date for that as of yet, but I am working on getting it finished, so I will keep you posted. Okay, so with that, here is my real point to this week's video. Just to get you guys caught up on some news and what's going on with Grown Up Talk and what's going on with the YouTube channel and everything else like that. So basically that's where we're at. One thing that I wanted to talk about is on this week's podcast, I am talking about domestic violence. So if that's a sensitive subject for you, you might want to skip this week's podcast, just because if that isn't something that you want to hear, you might want to skip it. But something else that has recently touched my life, which is kind of really upsetting for me, is people who cheat and lie. People who cheat and lie, I don't have any respect for you. I think that you're like the lowest kind of people on the totem pole, basically. And I feel like there's no reason why you should have to cheat in a relationship or in a marriage. If you're not happy or you're not being satisfied in the way that you feel like you should be satisfied, then you should just leave that relationship or that marriage. And yes, I understand that breaking up is hard to do and maybe something that you don't necessarily want to do all of the time. But sometimes, in some situations, it's necessary, especially if you feel as though you need to go out and get satisfied from somewhere else or from someone else, then you should definitely think or plan on moving on from that relationship. Make sure that you're being fair to the other person so that you tell them, listen, this isn't working for me anymore. I need to get satisfaction from somebody else or from somewhere else. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care about you. I care about you. I love you. This is not working for me. So just be honest and just tell the other person. Make sure that you give them the closure that they deserve, especially if this is somebody who has been loyal to you and has been honest with you and has treated you really good. they deserve closure, and they don't just deserve to be like ghosted or like cheated on or whatever. It's not fair, and the other person most likely doesn't deserve it. And yeah, it may be difficult to give them closure, but sometimes that is the best thing that you can do. So that was just a little bit of my thoughts on that subject, as somebody who has unfortunately dealt with cheating and being cheated on. And also, I hate to admit it, but I have also been on the other side of the spectrum, where I have not only been cheated on, but I've also cheated as well. Like I said, it's not a pleasant feeling. It's not a nice feeling. It's not something anybody wants to have to deal with. When you get into a relationship, you want to believe that that person is going to love you and only you, and be loyal to you and only you. And you don't want to have to think that they're out there doing something with somebody else, somewhere else, getting satisfaction from somewhere else. You really just don't want to have to do that, because it really messes with your head. It really messes with your happiness. It really messes with your views on relationships and trust and everything else that goes along with it. So if you feel that way, then you need to go and get it from somewhere else. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something else that I have been dealing with. And that is long distance relationships. So basically, I'm just going to give you a little bit of my own personal thoughts and feelings on long distance relationships. Long distance relationships do work for some people. They're great for some people. Absolutely, 100%. They are absolutely great for some people. But for other people, maybe not as much. Maybe they don't work as well. I'm not really sure. But just my own personal thoughts and feelings is that I have been going through a couple of not at the same time. Come on now, give me a break. I just gave you shit on cheating. But I have had some long distance relationships in the past, and I think maybe in one. Anyways, long distance relationships are really, really difficult. But the one thing that a long distance relationship does give you is the opportunity to learn how to communicate. Because without communication, your long distance relationship or your relationship in general is not going to last. You absolutely 100% must learn how to communicate. And you have to communicate about everything. How was your day? What did you do? Blah, 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 blah. You know, even those things that if you were in person or you were close together, you may not be like, oh, well, you know, da, da, da. Communicate about every single little detail. But when you're in a long distance relationship, you have to realize that the other person isn't there. So they can't know what you're doing. They don't know what's going on in your day. They don't know who you're seeing, what you're doing, or any of that. And they're just basically, when you're in a long distance relationship, they're just kind of left to wonder what's going on, what you're doing, who you're with, who you're seeing, so on and so forth. So it's really, really important that if you're going to be in a long distance relationship, that you're prepared to share those details, because all of those things, communication is so important, and it will either make or break your relationship. You can either survive the distance or not. Another thing is, when you get into a long distance relationship, you have to be prepared for one of you to move at some point. You want to know that at some point in your relationship, you're going to close the gap, and you're not going to be apart or separated forever. You want to know that at some point you're going to come together, and like they say, you're not going to have to say goodbye. You're only going to have to say goodnight and good morning. So that's my thoughts on cheating. That's my thoughts on long distance relationships. Once again, make sure you go check out my official website. That's grownuptalk.wixsite.com/grownuptalk. Check out my blog every Sunday, which there was just a new one yesterday, so go check that out. New YouTube video every Monday. Keep it locked right here on the Grown Up Talk Jessica Ambrose YouTube channel, because I put out new videos every Monday. Make sure you listen to the Grown Up Talk podcast every Thursday. Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Cast, Pocket Cast, and all my other sponsors that sponsor Grown Up Talk each and every Thursday. Make sure you head on over to Amazon. Get your copy of Relationships in the Real World. That's Relationships in the Real World, $7.99. Go get your copy right now. Also, I'm trying to get it onto actual bookstores, such as Barnes & Noble, other places such as that. But it's all a process. So for the moment, as of right now, you can just go on over to Amazon and get your copy of Relationships in the Real World, $7.99. Go get your copy. I will see you guys next week. Bye.